This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Pat Barrett over Zoom. Pat, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good.
It's good to hear. Firstly, congratulations on the victory with Lyndon this past weekend. How would you assess his stoppage win?
You know, great for the stoppage. Finish was good. Combination punching was good. Lyndon can be like what we would call a top class football team, and it's about levels. Yeah, if he gets too comfortable in a fight with levels, is super cool. It's too relaxed. It's just not. It's just where he is. Again, when it comes to rising, they say the cream rises to the top. Yeah, and you know, it's not that we don't respect fighters. We respect all fighters. We train for them like the world champions. But once you get in the ring, you can feel the difference, and you know the strength of your opponent. You know the power of your opponent, and you know everything else. You know when they're weakening. You know when you can stay on top. And what Lyndon did, it's a bit like the Spellman fight. Yeah. See, people don't understand what we do. Yeah, and he worked on little technical things about being close, staying in front of a person, what it's like to be, you know what I mean? Doing something different. Yeah. And then, you know, trying different things and then say, hey, next time we knit that up together and then we tighten it all up and then we make that into a better Lyndon. Do you know what I'm saying? Just like what we did with Spellman, then going into the Yarde fight. And, you know, people would say, oh, you know, looking at Lyndon's performance with Spellman, looking at Yarde's performance and saying that Yarde will definitely knock Lyndon out. Oh, we did. But I'm going to tell you something about boxing. It's kind of like, do you ever remember the Drunken Master?
I do not know.
No, well, there was a thing, this Kung Fu man, he always used to look like he was drunk, but he could fight about 50, 60 people, even though he was drinking, because people could always think they could take advantage of something that they thought was weak. Yeah, the eyes can perceive you. Yeah, people look at things that make it's a mirage. Lyndon is what I call a mirage. You look at something and you're getting something different. Yeah, it looks so simple. I think it's probably the only fighter that can make boxing look easy. Yeah, I think it's the only boxer that I think can be so laid back, getting ready for the fight and actually going into a fight. He's got to be the coolest boxer ever in my eyes, because I'll admit, I mean, I've been in boxing for a very long time, and being an ex-champion myself, I couldn't be like the way he is. So casual, so laid back, so, hey, so blasé, but so switched on when need to be. I've got to be switched on all the time.
Pat, it's interesting kind of listening to you there about how the level of opposition Lyndon's in the ring with, he will raise it to match or to better what he's in with. So with that in mind, when you reflect on, say, this Faraci performance, is it difficult to critique him simply because you know if he was in with a better level of opposition, he would already have produced a better performance?
No, I'm going to say something. What do we know until we get in the ring with somebody? All we know that this guy doesn't know what it's like to lose. Okay? And quite clearly, he was quite determined. When he got put down, when he was getting hit, he was determined to stay there. Most fighters, if that would have been like what we call the lower level, would have probably just said, I've had enough. Yeah, and wouldn't have got back up. But this guy got back up. He kept going. He didn't want to quit. You know, he probably would have quitted the way he should have quitted and got knocked out if that would have been the case. So, you know, Lyndon's level of how he boxed, yeah, I thought to myself, if you said to me, Pat, was he brilliant? I'd say he done good. I'd say the finish was great. If they say there's still learning room, I say, of course there is. And this is why we do things in stages. Let's just go back a little bit. Lyndon has learned the game from when he defended the Commonwealth title and from when he won it. He won it against Emmanuel, defended it against Spellman, and defended it against Yarde. They were his three learning fights on the just above the domestic level. Okay, right? Going into the world level now, you know, because now this intercontinental thing, he's defended it, he's won it off Yarde, it was vacant. We didn't win it off Yarde, it was vacant. Yeah, but we got it. We've defended it, and we'll defend it again. Now, from each outing from there, it will improve and it will get better. Yeah, because again, the Yard fight is like a world title fight because there's a lot to offer. Yeah, and there's only two ways Anthony Yard can fight Lyndon. There's only two ways that I know of that Anthony Yard can fight Lyndon. I won't say, but there's only two ways that 150% that I know Anthony Yard can fight Lyndon. Yeah, right. And either way, yeah, I think I've been in the game long enough to use my own experience because you won't see me bringing in another coach for another third eye because I don't need one. There's levels to this game, okay? Yeah, and it would absolutely insult me if I have an assistant coach to help me with all the up and coming next generation fighters, which is one of the boxers that's retired, Ben Mulligan, okay? Now I'm glad for Ben Mulligan because he's like family and he knows all the kids and he's good for the up and coming pros because he's been there and he can talk to them and tell them things and educate them, which is great because that's an experience that he's got. But the experience that I've got, I think the first world champion that I ever worked with that Brian gave me to let me do my apprenticeship with was Robbie Reed when he boxed Nardiello, okay? And my second world champion was Michael Jennings against Takaloo, okay? And then he let me train Matty Hall against Bradley Price. Yeah. Tommy McDonough against Smalls. So these are what Brian allowed me to do by myself. Yeah. So going back to Lyndon on these levels, yeah, I can see where I'm going with Lyndon. I'm not in no rush. Yeah. And no matter what, yeah, he's going to have to fight for the world title. And beat me Anthony Yard and beat me somebody else, it doesn't make a difference. Even though I never wanted to do Anthony Yard fight because at first I thought I'm taking a backward step. Yeah, we beat Anthony Yard. What's the point? But let's look at it from a different perspective. We're fighting Anthony Yard now for a different thing, and that's for the WBO Intercontinental. And that's another defense away from a world title. And it's what we'd have to go. He's going to have, Anthony Yard is going to have to meet someone like us, and we're going to have to meet someone like who wants it. He wants redemption. Yeah. He wants revenge. He wants to say that he never got beat. He wants to say the fight was a close fight. He wants to say a lot of things. Yeah. And I don't blame him. Listen, he's a fighter. Nobody wants to be beat on a close fight, on a close decision. Yeah. And he doesn't want to accept it. And again, I don't blame him. Right. But we've had our time in the time we've been champion. We've had all the limelight. We've had all the glam. We've got the respect. Yeah. So we've earned it. So now I'd say, you know what, Lyndon, let's fight him. Why not? What do we have to lose? Yeah. We had everything to lose fighting him the first time. Because when we fought him the first time, Anthony Yard was the most ferocious, dangerous fighter the first time we fought him. I'll tell you why. Bear this in mind. He's coming off a defeat. Okay. He's got a lot to fight for because his career based on this fight. Yeah. And again, it's us that's giving him the opportunity. Yeah. Without us, he hasn't got nothing. Because who's interested in fighting Anthony Yard now? Nobody. Why? What's he got? Nothing. So he's not of an interest. Nobody wants to fight him now. Nobody's interested in fighting for him now. And that would be the same probably with us. If we would have lost to Anthony Yard, who would have wanted to fight Lyndon Arthur? What have you got? Why do I need to give you a chance? This is what they're going to say. So it's not a risk that we're taking. It's a fight that we're taking. Yeah. And coming from that camp, I've heard it all before. Because if they didn't knock us out the first time, when they should have done, and that would have been the time, yeah, because even Lyndon had a lot of respect for Yard going into that fight, a lot of respect of his punching power and what his capabilities were. Even I did. You can't have 21 fights and have 20 knockouts, and nobody can't turn around and say you can't punch. It's impossible. Because even with journeyman, you've still done what you've done. You've knocked them all out. You've stopped everybody. So, you know, I look at that as a dangerous opponent. Yeah. And even at this present moment in time now, I still look at him as a dangerous opponent. I'm not saying to 1 minute that he's not a dangerous opponent, but I am not saying for 1 minute that we won't be ready for that dangerous opponent. Yeah, because it's my job as a trainer, yeah, to do my study and to do my own work, yeah, to make sure my fighters remain victorious. And again, it's like I said, it's trainer against trainer, yeah, right. And it's about you. I'm not gonna blow gas, put gas in my fighter's head. I'm not gonna blow him up. I'm gonna teach him, and I'm gonna motivate him, and I'm gonna teach him how to be ready. I don't need to bring another trainer in. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do anything different, really. It's just reprogramming, yeah, to what we're going to do in Manchester. Yeah, and bear this in mind, yeah. Coming to Manchester, yeah, it's not like where it's against you, but it's times have changed a little bit now. Yeah, you don't have that kind of power no more as you did before. As being, even when you wasn't the champion, when you fought us, you had a lot more power than us. Yeah, your reign on, even though you got beat, was like, we came in there, you wouldn't think we was a champion, not at all. But we didn't care, because what we got from that was a lot more than he could ever have in all them 20 fights. Do you know what I mean?
Pat, listening to you talk here, and you know, you mentioned kind of the respect you guys had for Lyndon and for the team. Sorry, for Anthony and the team heading into that first fight, heading into this one, because of kind of, you know, the reaction since then. Is that kind of sense of frustration, which I know, you know, Lyndon, he's not wanted to talk about the YARDE rematch. He's wanted to look at the world level. He's wanted to fight for a world title before this fight. With this rematch now, because of the frustrations, do you think Lyndon's going to want to take it out on YARDE this time around?
No, we don't. There's no frustration at all, because how Lyndon talks is how I was talking. Lyndon doesn't speak, I speak for Lyndon in so many ways. I'm saying, what's the point in us having this? Hey, even the whole society is saying, what's the point? You beat him, it's a backward step. What has Arthur-Yarde got to offer? It doesn't open up into offer, yeah? But you know what I still say? Lyndon's still learning. Yeah, Lyndon still, in my eyes, is only 2 steps away from a world title fight. Yeah, and part of them 2 steps is still got to work on certain things. Yeah, right. And part of that working on it is to remain in, like what he did do in the Arthur-Yarde fight, staying switched on. Yeah, from round 1 to round 12, to even after the fight's done, staying switched on. Yeah. And this is where we go back to doing again, because when he was switched on with one hand, yeah, right, he couldn't, he outfought him, he outmaneuvered him, he outdistanced him. He did everything so perfect. Now, what the key question is, right, if somebody's got one hand, why would you not take advantage of that? Why would you not put everything? Because it was down to your own frustration. You didn't know, you didn't want to know, you didn't want to empty the tank because you didn't know if you was fit enough to do that, and it might not have happened. You just, so in your head, you were fighting with yourself. You did 2 ways. Now, again, that's down to your corner team to make you do what you should do. Like in the YARDE fight with me and Lyndon, I was calm as hell. I was nice and pleasant because he was listening. He was focused. And in the Faraci fight, I was annoyed with him because you know, you're not listening, and you're kind of like being a bit, what you call it, about it, but you're doing okay. You could have had this guy out from round 5, yeah. But in my head, when I listened to what, I know what Lyndon was doing, yeah. And, you know, Lyndon was more or less says, you know what, Pat, I want to learn to walk fighters down. Yeah, I want to trust in my own defense, and I want to, you know, get close to him and then look to see where I can put my punches. Yeah, because this is what I want to do. And I said, okay, fair enough. But these are the things that we do when we work on them. You don't just take what we've not worked on and go and do it in a fight when you could have just kept it simple with the straight 1-2, yeah, off the jab, and it was like the European. Now, there's so many ways that Lyndon can fight that people don't know. Okay. Now we go back to the drawing board. I will execute the plan. Yeah. And they say, this is what we're going to do. And for this time, we've got to be more, what's the word? More versatile. We've got to have a lot of different things. We've got to have a variety of things. Yeah. It's not just going to be about the left jab. It's not just going to be about the right hand. There's so much more that we're going to bring to the table that he's got to offer. Yeah. And that starts from now. Because it starts from now with his mindset. It's now, this is where now I go back. I take him home, I sit him down, and I program him now. Yeah. It's not about what I do physically with Lyndon. It's what I do mentally. And the relationship that we've got, yeah, is very good. I remember saying to Lyndon one day when he was a kid, I remember going to see him, he used to fuck about, you know, he didn't take training serious. He was out all the time. And I said, listen to me, Lyndon. I never remember this. I went to his house. I seen him in his bedroom. I said, listen, yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a deal. I want you to take 6 months out of your life, just 6 months, yeah, and concentrate fully on boxing. Yeah. And let's see where it gets you. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, then you feel free to do what you want. But I'm telling you now, yeah, you're going to be a champion, and watch. And you know what? He absolutely listened, took the 6 month out. And do you know where he ended up? In the ABA finals. Yeah. Just concentrating, training hard, not messing about, not going out, and just showing me that he could do it. And from that day, I said, this kid's going to make it. Because anything he puts his mind to, he can do it. Yeah. And that's the difference. There's levels. When you can make a fighter do that, yeah. And it's the same thing again. It's just about tight knitting, pulling it together and making it work. And that's what I can do. Because it's not all fighters, you know. If the day comes, when that day comes, when Lyndon Arthur start telling me what to do in that gym, yeah, that's when you know, yeah, it's time for me to pack it in, okay? Because it ain't going to be a day where no fighter is going to tell me what to do in that gym. Do you understand me? I love my fighters, yeah. I respect them all, yeah. They're like kids to me, but there's no way, yeah, that I'm going to listen. No, we can talk on a level and they can ask, we can do things. But the day comes, I don't care how much money you think you're going to be paying me. Nah, no way, son. You ain't telling me nothing.
Pat, obviously listening to you here, it seems like the rematch will take place next for Lyndon. So heading into it, what will be different this time around?
What will be different this time around? I mean, he'll get the victory again. It isn't going to really be much different. You know, it's not really us who should be asking that question. It should be Andi should be asking that question. Do you know what I mean? I can think of several things that can be different. Yeah, but I won't say. I just know in my head, right here, I'm drawing that picture and I know how it's going to go. Yeah, and I don't need to say nothing. Yeah, because, you know, bad man talk in silence. Yeah, they don't expose what they're going to do. We don't reveal what we're going to do. We just humble ourselves and we do what we have to do. Okay? No, there's none of that we're going to knock you out. None of that crazy talk. When have you ever seen us do that crazy talk? That hype talk? Yeah. We're not this lions in the camp business. It's everybody to their own. And if that what works for them, that gassing up, that's good. You know what I mean? You know, it doesn't, it fears some people. It don't fear us. We're coming from this place here in Manchester. Yeah. And nothing fears us. Yeah. What we do is we respect what we're going in for. And we respect who we're fighting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's saying hello to you.
You know what I'm saying? We respect who we're fighting.
Yeah, I had it done the other day.
Pat, just going to move forwards and on to Zelfa. What is the latest with him?
It's only for a treat.
With Zelfa, he's going to be fighting. Hopefully he's got a fight for Zelfa in Mexico in August.
Can you announce who, or do you know who yet with regards to the opponent?
No, we don't know. We don't know. No, we've just been told it's, you know, there's a possibility that he might be fighting out in Mexico. On one of these shows out there. So, you know, I'm just, we're still in the gym, we're still ticking over, we're still training. And with everything what's happened, he's still ready. I've sat him down properly. We've had good talks, me and Zelfa. And yeah, you know, he's 100% ready. In fact, he can't wait to fight. He wants to fight more than anything.
There was talk, obviously, of that Kiko Martinez rematch, Pat. Is that kind of dead in the water now?
Nah, I don't think it's dead in the water. I think it will happen. I think what Zelfa will do, I think he'll get an 8-rounder or a 10-rounder, and then he'll go straight into the Kiko Martinez fight. Because really and truly, you know, you want to, before you go into the world level, you need fights like Kiko Martinez. They're the kind of fights you need to test your spirits, to test you as a fighter, to show that, hey, the first time round, I did wrong. The second time round, I'll do right. And it's the same with Lyndon, you know what I mean? Given the chance to fight somebody again, you learn about yourself, just like what the opposition does. They learn about themselves, and especially they're both in similar situations. They both had close fights, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where it wasn't argumentable. I could turn around and say, "Nah, I thought Zelfa did win." Yeah, but then people could turn around and say, "You're biased. It's your nephew, and it's your fighter." But what he did do, and how he come back later on, you know what I mean? He's inexperienced, and he did do what he did do. He did win the fight. Lyndon did win the fight, just about, yeah. You know, because he's only throwing a jab. You know what I mean? But the jab made up for it, and that's why they can't take it, because they said they came on stronger later on. Well, they did do, but they came on stronger when it was too late. Do you know what I mean? You had up to so many rounds to come strong, and you never did. You know what I mean? So same with the Kiko Martinez fight, it was close, and I thought Zelfa came through it, and I think the rematch will make a good fight for Zelfa, and a good fight for the fans.
Right, Pat, just want to get your thoughts on a few other things before I let you go. Just to kind of go back to light heavy, a fight coming up, Josh Buatsi, Ricards Bolotniks. Just get your thoughts on that.
Do you know what? I don't even know who the guy is who he's fighting, to be quite frank with you. Yeah. I'm one of these kind of people. I only watch boxing, what's going on in my gym. Yeah. I'm not one of these, you know, I'm a boxing trainer. I've been in boxing for so long, but I'm not a boxing follower. Like I know Tyson very well, Tyson Fury. So when Tyson fights, I take the thing to watch him, do you know what I mean? I'm not, honestly, unless I see somebody in the weight division where I've got a fighter, then I keep a close eye on him, because I know that once we grow through boxing, there's a possibility that we're going to fight each other.
Okay, so away from that, as you mentioned Tyson there, we was due to see him face Deontay Wilder for a third time next weekend. Obviously, an outbreak of COVID in their camp. But I just want to get your thoughts on that when it does come around. Fury Wilder 3, Pat, as somebody who knows Tyson well, what do you think will happen? Will it be anything different to what we saw in the first two fights?
I don't even know why there is a third fight, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I thought the first fight he won it, and I thought the second fight was definitely nailed. So again, it's not what Tyson can do different. It's what can Wilder bring differently to the table. It's always about the winners. The winners just win. You know what I mean? And if they did it like that again, they'll do the same again. You don't question what the winner does, especially when he knocks you out. I mean, you question what the guy who wants the rematch, like, what are you going to do? That's the more thingy part to me. What's he going to do?
Right, Pat, we will leave that there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate your time tonight, though. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
No problem. Thank you.